There is a reason the furniture your grandfather built is still standing. And the furniture you built last year is not. It is not the wood. It is not the tools. It is not even the time he had that you do not. It is something he knew that nobody ever told you. Something that was being taught in workshops across the world for hundreds of years, and then, somewhere between 1950 and now, simply stopped being passed on. Not lost. Stopped. Someone decided that faster was better. That modern was smarter. That the old ways were old for a reason. They were wrong. And your work has been paying for that mistake ever since. Today we are going back to what was stopped. And by the end of this video you are going to understand exactly why the old furniture lasted, and exactly what you need to change to make yours do the same. Welcome to Wood Uncle. Subscribe now and hit that bell. Because this is exactly the kind of conversation this channel was built for. Before the Second World War, woodworking knowledge moved the way it had always moved. Person to person. A father to a son. A master to an apprentice. You did not read about how to fit a joint. You watched someone fit it 10,000 times until your hands understood what your eyes had seen. After the war, everything accelerated. Factories. Power tools. Sheet materials. The demand for speed changed what people built, and how they built it. The apprentice system, the chain that had carried this knowledge forward for generations, quietly collapsed. The men who knew kept working. But fewer people were watching. And when those men retired or died, the knowledge retired and died with them. What replaced it was information. Books. Magazines. Later the internet. And information is not the same as knowledge. Information tells you what to do. Knowledge tells you why. And the why is everything. Here is what was lost in that gap. And here is how to get it back. Lesson 1. Wood is never finished moving. Not when it leaves the sawmill. Not when it has been in your workshop for a week. Not even after it has been built into furniture and sat in someone's house for 20 years. Wood expands and contracts with humidity. It responds to heat and moisture in the air. It is a living material in a dead form, and it never fully stops behaving like one. The old craftsmen did not fight this. They designed around it. Every joint, every panel, every tabletop was built with the understanding that the wood would move, and that the job of the joinery was to accommodate that movement, not resist it. Modern woodworkers treat wood like it is stable. Like once it is dimensioned and cut, it will stay where it is put. And so they glue panels into grooves with no clearance. They attach breadboard ends with glue along the full length. And then the wood moves. The joint cracks. The panel buckles. The frame splits. And the craftsman blames the wood. The wood was doing exactly what wood always does. The craftsman failed to design around it. Before you build anything, ask one question. Where is this wood going to move? And what have I done to let it? If you cannot answer that question, you are not ready to build anything yet. The old men knew this before they picked up a tool. It was the first thing they learned. And it is the first thing modern woodworking forgot. Lesson 2. Your hands are smarter than your ruler. The craftsmen who built furniture that has lasted 500 years achieved their precision with touch. With feel. With the kind of understanding that comes from putting a joint together 10,000 times until your fingers can tell the difference between right and almost right. Almost right is what a tape measure gives you. A number. A close enough. And almost right built into a piece of furniture will be wrong for the rest of that furniture's life. The old craftsman fitted everything. Cut close, bring together, feel where it binds, remove a single shaving from exactly the right place, test again. That process produced joinery that seated fully, held permanently, and never racked under load. On your next joint after you cut it, put the ruler down. Bring the pieces together by hand. Feel what happens. Let your hands ask the questions. Then let the tools answer them. The ruler will always tell you close enough. Only your hands will tell you the truth. Lesson 3. Sharp is not a starting point. It is a practice. Not the technique of sharpening. The culture of it. The understanding that sharpness is not something you achieve once at the beginning of a session and then spend until it is gone. It is something you maintain constantly as part of the work itself. The old craftsmen stropped between cuts. They touched edges to a stone mid-session without stopping to think about it, the way you might pause to wipe your hands. Sharpening was not a task that interrupted the work. It was woven into the rhythm of it. What replaced this was power tools and disposable blades. Why sharpen when you can replace? And slowly the understanding that a sharp edge is a craftsman's most fundamental responsibility just faded away. A dull plane burnishes wood fiber instead of cutting it, leaving a surface that glue will not bond to properly. A dull chisel tears mortise walls that no amount of fitting will ever make clean. Every dull tool in your workshop is quietly corrupting the quality of everything you produce. Build one rule. No tool goes back on the rack without being stropped. Before every session, touch every edge you plan to use to a strop or a fine stone. 2 minutes. It will change everything you make. Lesson 4. Wood tells you how to cut it. If you listen. The old craftsmen read every board before they touched it with a tool. The grain direction. The tension in the fiber. The way the surface responds to a test cut. They understood that forcing a cut in the wrong direction does not just make the work harder, it tears fiber in a way that cannot be corrected. Fast-grown modern timber dried quickly in a kiln is full of tension that releases as you cut it, warping boards, closing saw curves, making what looked like a straight piece behave like something alive. Before you make a cut, look at the grain. Make a light test cut. If it tears, you are going the wrong way. Flip the board. Change direction. Let the wood tell you how it wants to be cut. The wood has always been talking. Most modern woodworkers just never learn to listen. Before we get to the final 3, hit that like button if this video is giving you something real. Subscribe if you have not already. This is the conversation we have every week on Wood Uncle. Lesson 5. The joint is the structure, not the fastener. In the old tradition, a joint was not a way of connecting two pieces of wood. It was the structure itself. A through dovetail cut correctly cannot be pulled apart in the direction of its greatest load. A wedge tenon tightens as the joint is stressed rather than loosening. A drawboard peg, offset by a fraction of an inch, draws the joint together permanently with a force no clamp can match. These joints were engineering. The old craftsmen understood the forces their furniture would face: weight, racking, repeated stress over decades, and chose joints that turned those forces into strength rather than weakness. Modern woodworking replaced this with fasteners. Pocket screws, biscuits, dowels, all of them asking the fastener to do the work that the joint geometry should be doing. The result is furniture that holds for 10 years and then loosens. Chairs that rack. Tables that wobble. Cabinets that sag. Learn one proper joint this year. Not to be old-fashioned. Not for tradition. Because a joint that understands the forces working on it will outlast any fastener ever made. The old men built furniture that has stood for 500 years. They did not use a single pocket screw. Lesson 6. Finish is protection, not decoration. The old craftsmen did not finish wood to make it look good. They finished it to protect it. To regulate how it exchanged moisture with the environment. To feed the fiber and keep it stable over decades of use. Linseed oil penetrates deep into the wood fiber and becomes part of it, moving with the wood as it expands and contracts. Shellac creates a breathable film that protects without sealing the wood away from its environment. Wax adds a layer of protection that can be renewed indefinitely. These finishes were designed to be maintained, reapplied, cared for. Polyurethane creates a plastic film that looks perfect on day one. and then the wood moves underneath it as it always does, and the film separates at the edges and joints. Because plastic does not move with wood. It cannot. The old furniture is still beautiful because it was finished with materials that worked with the wood rather than against it. Oil it. Wax it. Let it breathe. Plan to care for it. Because furniture worth building is furniture worth maintaining. Lesson 7. Patience was not a virtue. It was a technique. The old craftsmen were patient not as a personality trait but as a deliberate technical choice. They acclimated wood for weeks before cutting it. They waited for glue to cure fully before stressing a joint. They applied finish in thin coats, and allowed each one to harden completely before the next. They understood that every step in woodworking has a natural duration. And shortening that duration does not save time. It borrows time from the finished piece. What we replaced patience with was schedule. The project needs to be done by the weekend. The glue has been on 30 minutes, so it must be ready. The first coat looks dry, so the second can go on. And every shortcut lives inside the finished piece, invisible but present, waiting to show itself in a year or in 5. The furniture the old men built was not made faster than yours. It was made slower. Every stage was given its full duration. The wood moved until it stopped moving. The glue cured until it was truly cured. The finish hardened until it was genuinely hard. And the result is still standing while the furniture made in a hurry was thrown away decades ago. Patience is not waiting. Patience is understanding that the work has its own timeline. And the craftsman's job is to respect it. 7 things that stopped being taught somewhere between 1950 and now. Wood is never finished moving. Your hands are smarter than your ruler. Sharp is a practice, not a starting point. Wood tells you how to cut it if you listen. The joint is the structure, not the fastener. Finish is protection, not decoration. And patience is not a virtue, it is a technique. None of these are secrets. They were common knowledge for centuries. Every serious craftsman knew them. Not because he was exceptional. Because someone showed him. Because the chain was still intact. The chain broke. But it can be repaired. One craftsman at a time. One workshop at a time. Starting with yours. Tell me in the comments which of these 7 has cost your work the most. The one you wish someone had told you years ago. I want to know. Share this with the experienced woodworker in your life who has been building for 20 years and never understood why the old furniture was different from his. That is who this video was made for. Subscribe to Wood Uncle if you have not already. And I will see you in the next one. Build slower. Build better. Build things that last.